What's up, everyone? Dios me lo bendiga a todos, and welcome to Gospel Music Plus. And today we're going to be talking about which is the best keyboard to be getting for your church. Let's do this. All right, everyone. One of the most common questions I get is, Pastor, we're trying to get a keyboard for the church. What do you recommend? That's a difficult question to answer because what may work for one church may not necessarily work for another church. There are three different categories of keyboards. You have synthesizer workstations, you have portable arranger workstations, and then you have software-based instruments, which you see here. Now, synthesizer workstations. Synthesizer workstations are the top of the line, top tier keyboards. These keyboards are expensive. You're going to be seeing them $4,400, $4,500 and up. I've seen them go up to $10,000. They are very, very expensive. This is not an option necessarily for everyone. There are other options. Synthesizer workstations, they specify on really, really great sound, but they have what are known as arpeggiators. And one of the things Yamaha likes to do is, especially with musicians love creativity. So companies like Yamaha, what they'll do, they'll have different arpeggiators inside the software, inside the keyboard itself. And basically when you touch a key, there's all these rhythms that come in playing all at the same time. And at the end of the day, what it really is just a computer inside that keyboard, which is what it is a computer. And it's basically playing notes a specific way, and that's your drum rhythm that happens to be playing in the background. But it's not an arranger workstation, which is something totally different. Synthesizer workstations like the Yamaha Montage, the MoDX, Nord Stage, these are exquisite. These are great keyboards. Personally, I prefer Yamaha. I'm not endorsed by them in any way, but I've used them throughout the years. I love their samples. I've seen how Yamaha's able to do a lot with very little, and their wave samples are not big. I've seen Korgs. I think I remember playing a Korg once. I think it was a Kronos. I think that piano was about a gig. That's how big the file was, and Yamaha's able to get that same kind of quality with less than that. So it really is a preference based, and if you're not interested and you don't have the deep pockets to pay $4,400 or $4,500 and up to get a keyboard, don't worry, there are other options. I think the cheapest Yamaha, I wrote down here, the cheapest Yamaha Montage is a 61 keyboard. That's $34.99. Yeah, that's still deep. You could go with the MoDX. That's another option. The MoDX, the most expensive options was the 88 hammer weighted keyboard. That's $2,199. Now, you have to understand, when you have a synthesizer workstation and you have 88 keys, you are paying not just for that software, that capacity, you're paying for the weight of the keyboard. You see, a lot of piano players, when they play, they love to feel that instrument when they're playing. I mean, you could play a keyboard all the day long, but when you don't have those weights on those keyboards, it's like you kind of feel disconnected. And those of you who play piano, if you ever played a weighted keyboard before and you've gone to a non-weighted keyboard, you can feel that difference immediately. It feels different. It feels like you can't even connect with it. But no worries, there are other options, okay? But remember, if you're gonna get an 88 size keyboard, especially like a synthesizer workstation, it's gonna cost you a penny. So just keep in mind, synthesizer workstations. It's a good option, but it's not a great option for everyone. So just keep that in mind. Next, the next category or classification would be portable arranger workstations. Now, what's a portable arranger workstation? Now, most of you probably already have experience with portable arranger workstations. Basically, the keyboard has built-in rhythms, and you could press start, and the rhythm will come and play, and the drums are playing, and you could play along to the rhythm of the keyboard, or the rhythm of the music, I'm sorry. And basically, these arranger workstations, depending on what you're willing to pay, we can have 4 different modes or 4 different sections of music, A, B, C, and D. Some of them go as far as to include a microphone input, and you can sing along with them. Portable arranger workstations compared to synthesizer workstations, these are the keyboards that have the speakers built into them. I think sometimes people think, oh, they see a keyboard and it has speakers, and they're like, oh, that must be a really cheap keyboard. That's not the case, because you could spend quite a pretty penny for a portable arranger workstation. I was looking earlier today, and I saw here Yamaha, and this again, I use Yamaha a lot. That's what I have, Yamaha, And one of the series, I love this series, is the PSR series. The PSR series, don't be fooled, because you think it has speakers inside and you think, oh, it's a rinky-dink keyboard. These keyboards are also expensive. The highest one I saw here was a PSR X900, $2,200, actually $2,300. $2,300. Now, what you're gonna get with $2,300, you're gonna get a keyboard that has good sound, but it also has a lot of options. Arranger workstations are really, really good for people who don't have a full piece band. You see, let's say you don't have a drummer. So you don't have a drummer, but you have a keyboard player, maybe you have a bass player. No problem. The Arranger workstation can do all the intro for your songs. We'll have the A section, B sections, could fill in between those sections. So if the drummer has to fill, the keyboard player can do all that right from his rig. In fact, this keyboard here is an Arranger workstation. This keyboard here has 4 different sections in music, and it has an auto-fill section, which allows me to, if I don't have a full piece band, I could potentially use this. And don't worry about, I don't have a drummer, it's okay. We'll just connect it to the audio system. We'll go ahead and run that audio out. And as I'm playing, I could start the intro right through here, and we could just start playing, and I can end. So be mindful when you practice and rehearse. The beauty of this is it's great for people who are trying to learn how to play. At the same time, for those who already know how to play, it helps them to have drum loops in the background. Synthesizer workstations, although they have excellent drum samples and whatnot, they're not Arranger workstations. Arranger workstations are designed for live performances in that sense, and they're designed to, you could cover for an entire band. In fact, if I had no bass player and I had no saxophone player, it has a built-in accompaniment system that literally, when you play the chords, as long as you play a 3-note chord, it will help you play songs, full-fledged songs on the Arranger workstation. Now, granted, depending on what model you have, you know, the arrangement, it could be a little bit different. Most modern Yamaha keyboards, they have some really beautiful arrangements, beautiful instruments, and the sound quality is actually really, really good. Arranger workstations, the Yamaha PSR X900, this is a $2,300 keyboard. Yes, this is expensive, but we could bring that price all the way down to, believe it or not, $300. Now, yes, you're gonna lose some stuff. You're gonna lose, and first of all, I've checked these keyboards. I hadn't seen one that I noticed was 88. There may be one, I don't know. The largest capacity keys that I found were 76 keys. The more keys, the better. If you have the full 88, that's great, but I understand in some cases you don't always have that option. And the PSR series doesn't have that. That I noticed, it doesn't have an 88 key version. PSR, but if you're gonna go top of the line PSR, you can get the PSR X900. That's a $2,200 keyboard. PSR A500, that's a $2,000 keyboard. You see, the prices are kind of expensive. They are expensive, and I know times are hard, but there's still other options, okay? We haven't finished yet. PSR 5X600, go to your local Guitar Center and sit down and tell them, listen, I wanna check out the portable Arranger workstations. Where are they? And another question, to answer another question, probably perhaps ask this question, why are they called portable Arranger workstations? Are not synthesizer workstations also portable? Lug around a synthesizer workstation like a Yamaha Motif or something like that, those old school keyboards, those things are really heavy. They are heavy, heavy, heavy. Nobody wants to lug around with an 88, a weighted 88 keyboard. It's incredibly heavy to move around. A lot easier to be moving around a portable Arranger workstation. These are portable. Some of them go as far as to include batteries that you can operate them on battery power. Not that I would recommend that, because in the middle of a service, you're playing, and the last thing you want is all the electricity goes out. Always make sure your keyboards are connected. It doesn't matter if it runs on batteries. Please plug that in. You cannot afford to interrupt the service because you are running on batteries. Always plug that in. Portable Arranger workstations, like I said, they have 4 sections of music. They're great for practice and rehearsing. And like I said, if you're gonna start off, if you're just starting off with an instrument and you don't have anything and you just need to get that instrument, something working in there, you could potentially start with a PSR EW310. And that's a $300 keyboard. It's an Arranger workstation. Now, granted, it's probably not gonna have all the bells and whistles, but it's gonna probably have a decent piano sample and some pretty good EPs, or electronic keyboards sounds. And so go to your local Guitar Center, or you can go online and search these keyboards up. All these PSR series, these are great keyboards. And they're not the only one. Alesis, they also make keyboards. There are obviously quite a few of them. Now, if we go further down towards the bottom of the pile, these are the cheapest of the cheapest of the keyboards, of the portables. And this is truly where they become portable. These are the Casios. Now, some people love them, some people hate them. Now, Casio probably does get a lot of hate from musicians. I don't know. I know personally, I'm not the biggest fan. I love their watches, but their keyboards have always left me with more, wanting more. And the point is with the Casios is that they're samples, they're pianos. A Casio keyboard is gonna have that classic Casio piano sound. You know, it's not of the highest quality. Does it get the job done? Yeah, but you know, what are you trying to do? If we're gonna play for the Lord, we do wanna give him excellence, but at the same time, if you wanna break the bank and this is what you got, then this is what you got. Now, that's going to lead us to our other options. But before I get to those other options, the other tier ones, the Casio CTX 5000. Now, don't think, oh, well, it's Casio, it's the cheapest possible thing you can get. That's a $500 keyboard. That's a 61 key keyboard, $499. It's not, you know, not exactly the cheapest thing. Not obviously the best of the line, but if I'm going to pay that kind of cash, I would probably want to go more on the side of the Yamaha. But to each its own. If you want to go Casio, you could definitely do that. I know when I first started playing, I actually had an upright piano. I think it was a Wurlitzer, and I didn't play it that much. My father bought a Casio. It was a Casio, really, really cheap Casio. I had one speaker on the side, and think about it, I actually played more on that electronic keyboard than I did on the actual grand piano. And that says a lot. Why? Because it was a portable arranger workstation. Portable arranger workstations have those built-in accompaniment sounds, has built-in drums they'll play, so you get to play a song with a rhythm already there, so you could practice timing, which is really important for keyboard players. You need to be able to play on time. Drummers need to be able to play on time, but the best thing is to do, especially when you're learning how to play, get these portable arranger workstations. You don't have to break the bank on it, and you can practice and rehearse at home without your full piece band in church, and you can practice those rehearsals at home, and then when you get to church, you're ready to go. You already practiced the song, you already know it. So these are the advantages that I think for the portable arranger workstations. They're considerably more cheaper, and it's a good option, especially for people who are getting into it and don't know. And if it's a brand new church, you don't got anything, good route to start. You know, you don't have to break the bank. Now, we're gonna go into our last tier, or maybe our first tier, not sure how you want to classify it. We're calling this software base. What is software base? Now, this is a very special thing to me because this is something I often use myself. What is software base? Software base is software such as MainStage, Ableton Live. There are different softwares that are available that you can actually download to your computer to play those instruments. You say, how you do that? Well, it's actually pretty simple. When you think about the concept of virtual instruments, or VSTs, if you take on a portable arranger workstation like this one over here, at the end of the day, what this is, it's a computer, but it's a computer designed to do one thing, and that's play music, to play sounds, to play samples. Now, if it's a computer, we can take that same concept and apply it to an actual computer, a laptop per se, and you can download software that you could download software directly to your computer, and you can use your keyboard as a controller to control the sounds off of your computer. Now, that's a whole nother section in itself. Those are called MIDI controllers. MIDI controllers can also be cheap and expensive, but significantly much cheaper than portable arranger workstations and or synthesizers. Now, a MIDI controller is not an instrument. I want you to understand this. A MIDI controller is a dummy keyboard. What's a dummy keyboard? It's a keyboard that's designed only to control something else, which would be your host, which would be the computer, whatever software you're using, if you're using Apple, if you're using Mac or PC, there are cross platforms that you can use. MainStage is an exclusive platform for Apple, but Ableton Live is cross-platform. You can use it for both Apple and Windows. So if you're not really into Mac or you don't want to invest in that, you could definitely use what you have right now. I know MainStage right now runs with at least 8 gigs, at least the version I have. I don't know what version exactly I'm running right now. I'd have to look. But MainStage, the one I have with 8 gigs, you could run it, and mind you, you could do quite a bit. You could do quite a bit. You are going to be limited, but you need to. There are videos online, tutorials that can teach you how to maximize the efficiency of your CPU, so you can get your instruments to play and sound great. Especially if you're only using one instrument at the time. You know, these keyboards are more than capable of pulling that off. It's not going to be an issue. Going back to MIDI controllers. MIDI controllers are basically dummy keyboards that are designed just to control your software or your digital audio workstation or DAW. Now, the really amazing thing is that every single keyboard that I have mentioned to you all run MIDI. What's MIDI? MIDI is Musical Instrument Digital Interface. MIDI is available on pretty much any keyboard. It was invented back in the 80s. And so pretty much any keyboard nowadays, pretty much, I don't want to say every single one, but I'd say more than 90% of keyboards, probably the one you already have, has MIDI. This is a MIDI cable. This is MIDI. This is old school. This is what we used to use back in the day. This has been replaced with USB. Although this has not disappeared, it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, really. Modern keyboards don't usually show this, but older keyboards are going to have this type of connector. This is a DIN MIDI connector. And basically you connect this at the back of your keyboard and then you connect this to an interface. If you don't have a MIDI interface, you could get one. You could probably find them on Amazon. I don't know how much they're running for, maybe 10, 20 bucks, I don't know. And basically what it does, it sends the signals that you play on your keyboard, on this keyboard, are transmitted from the keyboard to here through this cable to the computer. Basically, every single time you play on your keyboard, you're sending data signals out through this MIDI cable to the computer. And so the computer interprets it and understands it because it's designed for that. It understands it as musical notes. So as you play on this, you're controlling the software. Understand? And there's a lot of software out there that you can get. Some even have demos. You can play them out. MainStage is a software you can get. It's exclusive to Apple. I think I got it, it must have been around $32, maybe $34. And that has been my rig. I've been managing to do that. One of the things I've noticed as a musician, and a lot of musicians probably notice this, is that when you buy a keyboard, you are stuck with those sounds for the rest of your life until you decide to actually purchase another keyboard. What a lot of keyboarders has done, they've decided to move software based. So if you ever seen a live band and they always seem to have computers there, and like, what are those computers for? Well, guess what? Those computers are the instruments. They are playing, those sounds are coming from the computer and out into the audio PA system that you're hearing. So software based is a good system to look into because it's cheap. It is incredibly cheap. One of the things I've noticed is that with software based, you can get really, really good sounds. If you're willing to invest the time and learn, you can get really good quality sounds. They could rival Yamaha and Stage Nords. They really can. And a lot of people do use software like Omnisphere, Ableton Live, MainStage. So it's a good option to look into if you're trying to not break the bank and get some software. Like I said, MainStage costs around $30 to $34. I don't know how much it's running for now in the Apple Store, but you could definitely look into it. It's not a demo, but you can definitely try it. I mean, you're not going to go wrong. MainStage is a great software, but keep in mind it is exclusive to Apple. So if you have a software base if you have a PC computer, it's not going to work. You're going to have to try and look into other options like Ableton Live or some other software that is available. And there are a lot of them out there. You can even download trial versions to try and test them out to see if you like them. You just need to look into your keyboard settings to see how you can transmit the data, the MIDI data, out into your computer. Okay, well, that's the conclusion of this video. I hope you like it. I hope you're blessed. If you like this video, put a thumbs up, crash that bell symbol so you can get notifications. Subscribe, please, and I'll see you in the next one.